attention, Lady Fur. Like I said, I've already explained everything.
And yet the it is not my... Look at this.
You mean...
We did not arrive in time to avert... I will say this once more. Yesterday, I found 3 stone slates in some...
Seriously? You're questioning me like this is a court case now. But...
That's correct. The second of these...
I don't.
I'll ask you, my deciphering...
All gods don't have the same secrets. I understand your concern.
Forgive me for saying this now, lady. There are several... This is not straight. You have never been...
Well, since you know, there's no point questioning or suspecting me. You're the eunuch. Just trust in me. That's all I have to say. We do not... Oh!
Did Farina not notice us standing by the door?
I assume you've been outside for a while now?
Oh!
She was in a great panic, though I cannot discern the reason. Our discussion reached impasses time and again, a state of affairs that we cannot allow to continue. Still, I do not understand. Dialogue is the basis for understanding, so why did she keep refusing to engage? Everyone in her... We may have to...
Oh?
Normally, people will...
But...
We will need to consider... If at all possible, I would prefer to recuse myself from this affair, but we must prevent the prophecy from coming to pass. This may be cruel to her. But who will lend us their aid to do such a thing?
Well, that's it. Speaking of which, it was pretty smart of you to think of hiding here.
Poisson was just involved in...
And here you are, drinking tea.
That's what family...
It's nice to enjoy tea here, you know? Care for...
Lend me your ears, everyone. Or perhaps one of you might like to start us off. How about...
Me?
Then, how about you?
I fear that I will cause the mood on this boat to become as somber as it is in court.
Well then, I guess we're lucky we've got a local like me to organize things. Wonderful, the spotlight...
That was a little long-winded, don't you
Oh, you might be right. Anyway, to cut to the... As for what that is, well, let's start by saying that we'll be...
Oh?
Well,
Huh?
Oh, come now. Your work doesn't involve much public speaking, right? This is a good chance to...
I see.
He is glad that you can...
In that case, do any of you have experience hunting?
Not that I recall.
Fremine and I once used a wooden stick in a basket to catch wild rabbits when we were...
I'm afraid not, though that was their name. Today, a trap so...
For me, our line of...
You use some of those techniques while moving...
Yes, and
I'm afraid I can't claim that as...
And I can be...
With discretion,
I remember that you...
I did.
What about you, Monsieur Neuvillette?
I fear...
That makes sense. But I do have one more. If we were to create a... If we wanted to kill the prey in one strike, we would need a powerful implement. However, that also goes...
Wait, what?
Only a hunter who's a...
Huh.
If our means of capturing and dealing with our prey is to put... But we shall require much more courage than...
Oh.
us now that Paimon... it's hard to say. After all, you're the most reliable... did you just... then what? Paimon's never seen...
Don't be frightened. Aw.
Wait.
You're feeling The prophecy.
What?
I believe you have witnessed a failed attempt with your own justice prof are the things that... I believe that you understand ultimately.
The voice. Hey, it's you!
Well, I see I've walked in on some lively banter.
Mona!
Fine, just not all fun. Why, yes, I'm in full...
That's right!
Yes. About... Goodness gracious. Are you see...
She said that even
The Hexen Circle members are certainly anything but ordinary. But I've never...
Whoa.
Their abilities are...
Well, it's not like...
Yes, she was... Perhaps it is... Traveler.
Oh, we're...
I see. I guess you could consider me someone who has... But even so, perhaps that's what N was trying to tell you. I did originally...
Huh. You do have a point.
Then it was worth trying, I suppose.
Paimon feels kind of moved by what Mona said. Hey, Traveler. Let's walk around the city, shall we? There's a few spots... Huh? Let Paimon see! The underwater... My recent thus did it so while the fork journalist Charlotte took... She hasn't been able to get a hold of it. Ugh, seriously? We're here! Hey, quick! Look! That's the limited edition only 16 slices a day cake! It was so delicious
One slice of cake, please.
Someone showed up after all! Oh, wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia!
Oh, are you here to buy cake too?
Wait,
That's right. Even
do you come here often?
usually every day.
Every day?
It's part of my daily.
Then what if someone...
But why would it?
Well...
Oh, the prop? No. It's this.
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have these 2 slices are for you? See,
Oh, you know Citrine?
I sure do. She said that I've got something else to do, so.
And there she goes! Alright, let's dig in. It's more delicious. Sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious. Oh, we're near the seabird office.
I will have order.
Game's up. Time's over. Witness the power. Are you?
Your dues. This is order.
Rain cutter. Here comes the catch. Over here.
Solidify! I will have order!
Things are about to get dicey. No, my sword. Let me leave you a verse. Fire hazard! Here come the fireworks! Quietly now. Rain outlines your fate. Take it easy. There you are.
Gather the order guide you.
Busted. Here comes the catch. Ring cutter. Feels us Uh-oh.
Can't run from death. Solidify! This is order!
Game's up. Fun's over. Quietly now. Witness the power of
Can't run from death.
Ad Astra. Thank you for
Take it easy.
This realm. This realm. If you ever have.
I got a new letter from an informant.
House of Truth.
Wow! If it isn't the Traveler and Paimon!
Ha! You've got some.
Oh, you needn't worry about it. It's all right, though.
Really? Oh,
You're...
Oh, Paimon.
Still, what brings you here all of a sudden?
When Mona mentioned you, we thought.
I see. So she mentioned me? What did
She said that you're a.
Nice.
Huh?
Oh, of course it doesn't. That was more like...
Yeah. Are we?
Why not? If...
Oh. In that case.
Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! Ooh, so much...
Wait, Charlotte. Paimon's still got a question for you.
And what's that?
If.
Huh. That's... If you're from what I've seen, so in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping at the office for that interview of ours. Just think about it. If this nation... And then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that story. I'm not a dreamer, but anyway.
That's so. Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we? The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty. Paimon's been thinking. If it wasn't fun. No, but. We've always been moving to the next. You mean. Huh. Feels like it'll grow more, but it's still better.
Ah, so the two of you are still here.
Oh, you're from the Palais
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur... Not at all. Yes.
A riot?
Well, that Lady Farina loudly accused... And before the crowd continued.
So people...
I agree.
So what happened after...
Seeing that the situation... The Mario Jose fan...
So...
That's right. That said, I don't think good.
Don't worry.
Is that...
Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Port Sullivan. If we know, and as we, when Nerval was, it would be hard. Paimon thinks for, Well, in that case, it. This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation. Could Farina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible. That's Farina.
What was...
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What can I even do? Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina.
They even. Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette.
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are. They're just some rabbit fat.
Farina just ran off. Quick, we have to get. This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot.
What?
Hurry, they're almost.
Fine. I suppose I. No! what's happened?
Yeah. A quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, didn't it?
It can't be.
Well, there's no need.
Yeah, but the people who put... It's true. I've tried all but... Oh my, we cannot make an enemy. Indeed, fate. But just now, it all, as long as the... Don't worry. Well, that's enough for now. Don't take any of what...
Come on!
Share, that's impossible. A witness. And if to...
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my... Now, without...
Do not forget, however, that I...
May I interpret these words? As your in that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
You would draw your blade... I see. It seems like you have made a...
Paimon can't believe it. She...
What the heck is going on? Did I just see an Archon surrender?
Wow.
Lady Farina.
It would seem that there has been a...
Looking for
I raised my hands just now. I'm sorry. You are not... But now, I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world this time. Applaud and mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine.
Woohoo! Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Like, come on! Also, even though she's still acting...
All right, then. Who?
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that... Also, please allow just how much...
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the task.
Navia,
Most of the people who participated in the disturbances, they changed into the people's resent, moreover. According to our...
So you...
And their goal was...
That's right.
As the super ultimate version, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson was an Archon. My thanks, Farina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an... Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of... We had to select a location...
So, in other...
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster.
Then, you gathered a crowd. Prepared also that...
Yes, that is...
Well, Clorand, As for you, you'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my Oh? It's fine. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this
Sir Prosecutor, please allow me to This is a document that
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too! Hey, Charlotte! Oh, let Paimon see. Wait. So in other words, we can refer to this... Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
You've defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duel you took part in at the Opera House. You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duel you took part in at the Opera House. That's one for the history books, all right. The words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can probably only be truly understood when something surreal happens to you. A Fatui Harbinger. She's an extraordinary person. I didn't think that you'd wind up. This is the first time the Fortress of Meripede. According to Monsieur Neuvillette, both child and that whale
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Neuvillette. There's no need to repeat all the unimportant legalese. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. Of course, it is only natural.
That's true. But my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking her.
Charge accepted. Lady Farina, do you plead guilty to the charge? Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Fauchelor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Yeah. Even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very idea?
Yeah, I've never...
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. There would be no fooling their memory. See? Even if you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the god of justice that...
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? You have to not only refute Farina's claims, but also overturn the long-held beliefs of the people.
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If you must persist, then let me ask. If you believe I'm not the Archon, then what manner of being do you think I am? And if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
That doesn't sound right. First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't the case, there could be other ways to extend your life.
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
Neuvillette sensed it too, huh?
Lady Farina.
Well, it is true.
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have been carrying a curse like you said, how does that prove that I am merely a human being? Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as gods. For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house, or consider the indemnitium that is used in every aspect of
That doesn't sound... that doesn't sound... You tried to reference the Oratrice, but weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Child to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good explanation for that by now.
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans to comprehend. There is no need to provide...
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you are an Archon, you are also first and foremost the defendant in this. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules of the court.
I never thought you'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all should respect and follow.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the Oratrice. Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
The real Hydro Archon? Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally, and it has been operating independently ever since it was first created. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that the god behind it must also be no god at all.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the Oratrice.
My power as an Archon. There are many ordinary citizens in the audience. How can I just carelessly demonstrate the formidable power of an Archon?
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and I've converted the people's faith in justice into Indemnitium. Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily lives. Have you ever seen a more...
Isn't that a huge...
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still be called a...
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone. I'm still the same Farina you knew, right? The one that you loved. Please, you've got...
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a grave offense.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And all of our ancestors?
Enough! That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro Archon, then who is? If you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their claim to be such, then what grounds have you to say that I'm not actually the real deal?
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. How can we refute her now? Seems like she really doesn't want to give up. That doesn't... It has been established that all Fontainians can dissolve in water from the primordial sea. And that means...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor, you must still adhere to proper procedure.
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. I swear this really will be the last time that I'll speak out of turn. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago, taking many lives, including those of some of my closest friends. So, Miss Farina, would you dare to touch some of this seawater? If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching this seawater would have no effect on you. All it should do is strengthen your case. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years. I guess her suggestion is valid.
If Lady Farina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontainian like all the rest of us. Would she really dare to try?
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to decline participation.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession of guilt.
She's just staring at the water without saying...
What's going on? Is she really planning to... That's not what we thought she would.
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina, you may...
What?
Hey! I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! Will you believe—
Miss Siegewing? If you are present, Miss Siegewing, please come forward and attend—
Siegewing? Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few...
Please announce the results of your evaluation to the court, Miss Siegewing.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate that she was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar concentration.
Thank you, Miss Siegewing. Lady Farina.
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved. Shouldn't that be enough to prove my innocence?
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. After all, on the off chance that something entirely unexpected might occur, we don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low-concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve as an expert witness. It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used. Farina could have...
I can't believe... You... Listen to me, everyone! Please don't give me such cold and disdainful looks! What happened just now didn't prove a single thing! Think about it! How can you conclusively prove that an Archon can't also be affected by the Primord? Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put my hand in that kind of water? Please! Everyone! Anyone, just listen to me! I swear, I really am your...
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against...
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any way...
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. Just too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is... guilty. We shall now turn to the orator. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mechan...
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
No, the Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus. The Hydro Archon, guilty to be punished via the death sentence.
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought...
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court.
And it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice.
Farina's been...
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for... Is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Yeah! Even Fontaine wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Farina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place. But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon. What does this mean?
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Fremine! You finally made it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the first prophecy slate? Huh. So the knave privately arranged for Fremine to try and find the missing...
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. But has the trial already concluded? Then doesn't that...
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left on the slate. Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates. I would like you to come here and confirm their content.
Huh? So what do you see? What is...
I believe I have now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Farina, and we've already proven that she's not the Hydro Archon. So when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro Archon we've been kinda talking about?
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to the contents of these stone slates. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other 3 stone slates. Paimon will do her best to help you remember. The first stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Oceanids turn into humans. Does that mean that Fontainians are transformed Oceanids? Oh, Paimon wasn't expecting that. But if Oceanids can turn into humans, then perhaps this process can be reversed as well. The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together. But the heavens still brought judgment down upon them. This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontainians were branded with their original sin. Does this mean that the original sin and the Hydro Archon sin are the same thing? The third slate shows the Hydro Archon seeking into the sea surrounded by many people. That reminds Paimon, didn't we also watch that happen to someone else? Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontainians have been talking about. People dissolving into the sea, the Hydro Archon crying on her throne, and so on. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we?
We know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women that Fontainians can be dissolved in primordial seawater, and the first stone slate tells us that long ago, the Hydro Archon used her power to turn Oceanids into humans. This might be the reason that Fontainians can dissolve. perhaps what is about to take place has all happened before. The true sin of the Hydro Archon that Nervalet mentioned, and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia, as recorded on the stone slates. It's not as simple as falling into the sea. When Navia fell into the sea, her consciousness was subjected to judgment. The stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea. Could that be alluding to the same thing? The prophecy from the Fortress of Merib, if we hadn't...
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea. The Hydro Archon was set. Navia fell into the water inside. The eruption of the primordial sea. The stone slate's contents can all be verified by recent. Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now. So that's how you can make, but then it feels like.
Let's hear them.
Incredible.
We're not.
All Fontainians were originally created by the late the evidence for the. Oh, and according to.
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the. That could also.
The Hydro Archon.
And yet, after many hundreds of years.
Yeah. So wouldn't it be trying to in the end? Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must, however, while you were able to decode all the information when we were at the ruin, now that the slate collection is complete.
What?
I believe I should share this truth not only with your hypotheses. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the... However, even not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her family. She poured primal... But if Fontainians... Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is...
So we were all Oceanids before we turned in...
That's way too much information. Wait, but if that's the truth...
This really...
Alas, your hypothesis a key point of they have not... The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as you may also recall. Therefore, that the people of Fontaine... Yes.
I think I'm in truth.
What should we do? If that's the case...
Traveler, I would like to point out another about the fourth slate. However, as for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before. This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come.
It was both dream and reality.
If we're talking about it,
The truth, the...
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here. That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has traversed, it has been greed, and once it is finished...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontainians out of Oceanids...
Precisely. Therefore, when it left the Primordial Sea...
We just...
That is correct. From the way he looked, he must have been fighting...
That battle maniac. Anyway...
It is too late. It had already absorbed, even if the entire...
That's... We've already done... We've come...
Indeed.
I'll fight it to the end.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Just as ultimately,
What's happening with the aura trees?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Farina! No, I still need answers.
You...
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
You are not Farina. Who are you?
The sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Focalor. You know, the god.
Focalor? Why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too, if I was to stand any chance of deceiving the heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly principles?
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. She knew full, and as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly prince. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. I had to I'm a genius, I know. Although, looking back now, it was... But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this. Anymore.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids, transformed into a human by Egeria's hand.
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, To be human is after becoming a god. I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being. The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named Farina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited. Her strengths were of a... But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. Anyway, it's all part of the plan. Do you still remember in order that the prophecy under the curse I placed on her, so long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, to forever play the part of the god from the prophecy, all to create a deceitful appearance of that prophecy coming to pass. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the Opera Epiclese.
But Farina is only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary human being. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure. It must have been torture for her.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, I most definitely owe her an apology for it. It's been 500 years, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and agonizingly painful opera of all time.
Oh, who permitted you to come onto the stage? Now, I understand your admiration. All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not... Oh, do not jest. Can you not feel it? I am Focalor. The eyes of countless Fontainians are upon me. I must, at all times, display the utmost elegance and nobility. Dear audience, The performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon.
Order guide you. Gather.
Here comes the cash. Time for a light show. Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards? Guards!
Take it easy.
No, my sword! A festive reprise! Fire hazard!
This is order.
Farina. Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid. I am before you.
Wait a moment. You're Mirror Me? How can this be? Mirror Me.
The prophecy.
What prophecy? The people will...
Oh.
What? But...
I will tell you.
As... But... If there were...
I suppose this would... Don't worry. It's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its Hydro Archon. I need you to play a role. That's right. If you can...
But...
Don't worry. Being a human, remember.
So...
To a combat.
A trial. The Maison Cardinalise has announced my accession, but this is my first time facing the people. What should I say to most appear like a god? To be honest, I still don't know. Perhaps I should first try to act natural. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you've all heard. In truth, as the god Focalor, once again, I thought I might...
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses...
Hey,
Did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestion.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest.
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen.
Wait, what's going right? Calm down, Farina. Think. Assertive. Now, I was wondering if some weak you may consider. Now then!
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we...
Personality? It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful! Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. Best follow this flow and My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, we have heard it said that this nation's sins can no longer be washed away. Well, I say that justice is most fragrant when it blooms amid sin. The scales of may law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. Let us light the fires and drink to the future of Fontaine! There is no... So long as I...
Lady Farina.
Indeed, my...
Lady Farina, we're detecting significant...
Understood. share. That's impossible.
But even if you're just share it with
A witness. And if to... He's right. But if they... No, Farina. But what if, Farina, is it sad if you let this think about it? Long and hard. No. All you need to do, dear spectator, is to...
Fine.
So even Farina doesn't know the truth? You've never once let her in on the full...
Yes, she did very well. If she had it seems that trusting
I believe that. How would you build...
Ah, good. Of course the Udex of Fontaine has I'm sure you...
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Linny did mention that he heard a It now seems that...
And then I became one with the oratories, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, it would seem... Alas, in truth, it is no... Oh, you... My work, but really, the vast majority had to be accumulated.
It was all...
Indeed. This power accrued over 5 centuries, but...
So the Oratrices... The destruction of that divine throne...
Returning what's... In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon to the Hydro Dragon of this planet.
But...
Oh, what? Getting sad again, are we? The authority...
All you've done...
I've never quite seen it that way. Hydro Dragon, don't cry. I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved to judge the heavenly principles themselves. Were they not guilty of Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea. And speaking of justice, I have always believed that so, if the theft of the primordial sea's might was Fontaine's original sin, then, leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, the descent of the Fontainians as humans and their right to in other words, defying the at this point Udex Nervillet.
So when I was at last, in the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of you are things being as they are. Surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Nervillet. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
Judex Nuvelet, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
What just happened? Has the death sentence been carried out?
Was that bright light some sort of misdirection? I have a feeling that something huge just...
But...
It's time to end this. We must mete out punishment to that beast.
Didn't you say just a moment ago that it can't be defeated?
I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain means, I now have the ability to separate the power of the Primordial Sea from that creature. We should seize the opportunity to pursue our quarry. Traveler, now that the oratories can no longer function, I require an executor to help me mete out justice. The root of the calamities befalling Fontaine, the beast that enacts the prophecy. Its name is the all-devouring Narwhal. Come with me, traveler. The hour of execution has come.
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job, but it was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that... Well, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point. But they bumped into...
That power. Who are you?
Paimon has an idea. From what she said earlier, she must be Child's master. Skirk, right? It's just that he gave us the impression that she was, less talkative.
I simply did not. So you may speak to me. I have to agree. That kind of power. All in all...
Miss Skirk? I think you...
The point...
Well, Beep, so what sort of person...
Oh, right. His name is Sir Tologi.
Huh?
I am
Huh. So Master isn't sufficiently famous.
The foul?
Still not...
Oh, that one!
Oh, but I suppose you want...
Wait!
Actually, never that they all devout such roiling as such. In other words...
What?
Not to worry.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Farina will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Hey! Help! Over here!
All hands, initiate emergency rescue! Hurry!
Hey, lend a hand!
Look! The water's receding!
It's a miracle!
Water's receding.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong.
Are you alright?
We're safe. The prophecy was wrong.
think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The value for these big scoop. Edwin's assistant, Jurier.
Paimon's curious.
And that's exactly. Oh, this time.
Oh, it's you. What brings you all here?
Hey, we're just having a look around.
I'm here to update myself on how things are going here. Oh, the Fatui are here too.
Let me introduce you. This is Mr. Garunt Snežević. He represented the Knave in sending us a large amount of supplies, and is helping with our work. Our residents are hard at work as well. Thanks to everyone, work is progressing nicely. We've lost a lot of people, but we're moving forward. That will have to be enough.
Hello, Miss Charlotte. I'm a big fan of yours. I especially like that article you wrote last year about Fontaine's stray cats. But if you don't mind, could you not emphasize our role too much in your report? It's not charity we're doing here. We just happen to share the same interests as the Spina.
I get where you're coming from. I'll keep it as simple as possible. Or would you be willing to feature as friendly neighbors?
That would be fine. Thanks.
Oh, you're back too. How are things?
We finished laying down the construction materials. It'll be another hour before the workers are able to go over there.
Huh? You're here too, Clorant?
Well, her reputation's greatly risen after that whole duel business with Miss Farina, so she's here in Poisson to wait out the heat. All right. She really came here to help me out.
There's too much to consider in the reconstruction of Poisson. The Spina has need of more decision-makers. And, well, I do already happen to be connected to Mr. Callis.
Oh, wait just a moment. Do you mind me asking a few questions? You know, about how you felt before the duel, about what it was like facing down a god. There's lots of exciting material there, I bet.
Forget it. I'm sure you can find a better theme than that, Miss Charlotte.
Oh, I see you're the same as always. Couldn't you do me a favor, for Navia's sake?
Well, if we're talking about doing things for my sake, you might as well just take a few more photos of me. Or of the Traveler. It's better than wasting time persuading Chlorand at any rate.
Of course I will. I'm not gonna let him off that easy. All right, then everyone who wants to be in the photo, gather up. And smile.
How did it go? Was it a good...
Not bad. Your addition really helped the composition of the picture. All right, hang on a moment. Let me snap a few more... All right, that should do it. I'll be back here later anyway, so let's call it a day.
You're very quick.
Speed is of the... Also, not to wow.
I'll hazard a guess that this is how you got that interview at the Fortress of Meripede.
Whoa, you're welcome.
That's a...
In truth, I told him that it was...
You're right.
Stay safe now, and tell...